Hi there, Beer Can Cold Nation. Today's episode is brought to you by Praxis. Everybody talks about the goal: more profit, more growth, more wins. But here's the reality. As average ticket prices climb, it's becoming more important than ever to stay organized and run real systems inside your business. Because the truth is this, the process is just as important as the goal. That's why we partnered with Praxis Software, built around one simple idea: the winning process made simple. From the owner all the way to the newest employee in your team, every business needs proven processes to build a winning culture. Praxis HVAC sales and pricing tool creates consistent pricing, improved product knowledge, and develop team members into confident professionals. And when your people are confident and your pricing is consistent, your business runs better, period. If you're ready to stop guessing and start running a real operation, call Marty and the guys at Praxis today at 678-680-5926. Again, that's 678-680-5926. Or visit them at praxisgroupinc.com. You can also find the direct link in the show notes. Praxis Software, because the process is just as important as the goal.
I'm telling you, Zorp, you gotta listen to the latest Beer Can Cold episode. Those two dumbasses, Will and JG, they have no idea I'm actually on the payroll.
Are they tasty?
No, they're podcasters. It's worse. Oh, hey, you want one too? I guess he was not hungry.
Let's go, Canes. I knew you, Will, Merritt, you knew I was going to throw that in.
The Canes are taking years off my life.
Oh, they are. Oh, my God, they are.
There's a game tomorrow night. I'm already worried.
I'm already worried, too. So, welcome, everybody. And yes, the Alien podcast didn't make it, but my very horribly put together AI commercial did. And so I felt like everybody needed to see that. It is really bad, but I spent about 8 hours on it, so I figured it's worth sharing. So welcome today. Today is a big podcast. As you guys can see, the screen is completely full. We're very excited about this because we started a couple of weeks ago with Marty talking about extended labor warranties and value and so forth. And then I reached out, and Kelsey and Courtney said, we'll come on your show. We'll come to the Bigfoot show, and we'll come talk about extended warranties. You guys offer warranties with JB. So, Kelsey, let me turn the music down because I'll let it play the whole time, and then we're in trouble. If you want to just introduce you guys and kind of tell us a little bit about JB Warranties.
Absolutely. So my name is Kelsey Weeks. I'm a regional strategic account manager. I'm over primarily all of the East, Northeast, Louisiana, Mississippi, and then cover the West. And then we have Courtney here. She introduced herself a little bit ago, but she is a strategic account manager over the Carolinas. She has a couple of counterparts out there that are on the ground, feet on the ground, local, but she also travels out there for events, and we're both corporate based. And we are with JB Warranties. So JB Warranties was founded in 2008. They are the nation's leader in labor warranties. Hit our 6th year as the Inc. 5000 award. So rapid growth. Which I'm assuming is what brought us here, right? The industry is changing.
That's right.
It's growing places. So that's who we are. We basically, third-party labor warranties are meant to fill the gaps. So you get the OEM manufacturer parts warranty, and then our third-party labor warranty is supposed to fill that gap for the labor to replace or repair those parts.
That's awesome.
I think she needs to add though too. She has an impressive. I mean, we both have some HVAC backgrounds, but Kelsey even more so. So we're not just your standard, like, we're pushing warranties. I mean, we have a strong connection to HVAC owners and the whole team.
You do.
Kelsey, you got to explain your background a little bit. I think it's.
I did.
truly
I grew
impressive.
up in the industry. My siblings and I have to say that we used to sweat out our fevers as children in the attic. But we did, right? My dad had multiple pagers. We had to go to a job. He had us in the back reading the atlas. It just wasn't the way it is now.
Right.
Started getting my hours in the field as a teenager. Obviously couldn't register for those hours until I was 18 and ended up getting a commercial deep refrigeration license. Veered into the plumbing side. I enjoyed that much more.
No kidding.
I did. Yes, very much so. Broke away from it, obviously, whenever my children hit school age, and their breaks coincided with my busy season. So, they're out for summer. I'm busiest in the summer. They get out on the holidays. I'm on call on the holidays. Major respect for the trade. And then Courtney grew up in the industry. Her brother still owns their company in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well,
Mine was the egg crate between the two seats of my dad's van. I didn't go to get my license. There's no way, but I love my contractors and my people.
Well, see, I was actually still as pretty and young looking as Will before I started a plumbing division a year ago, and look at me now. Oh my God, it was like they asked the wrong guy to start a plumbing. To start the plumbing. So we made many mistakes, but we're up and going 4 plumbers, and it's going really well. But no, absolutely. And when I was at your facility about 2 years ago, it was very interesting to me to see how many of the people that work for JB Warranty is from the industry, has industry experience, can talk the talk. Like Will's slogan for his company as well. What it's like, we speak HVAC, right?
You speak HVAC.
Yep, and it's like that is really the underlying tone with JB too. It's like everybody there knows what a condenser is, which is very helpful. So absolutely,
They don't go through training,
Yeah.
so they learn what it is.
that's right. So first question here is kind of like, what's the biggest misconception?
About labor warranties.
Yes.
I would say that they coincide with like your refrigerator warranty, or your standard extended car warranty. Your extended warranty that you're going to just register for, forget about, never utilize, or it's going to be too much hassle when you do.
Okay, I can see that. Marty, as you kind of dug into your research into this, what's one of the kind of the myths that you found that has been talked about? So for me, it's always like, well, the service managers are pushing back because they're not going to make any money, right? And we've been able to prove that that's not really true. Have you picked up on anything like that?
Yeah, it's always been that. I mean, when you look and you figure out what your sell labor rate is, and then compared to what you're going to get out of a labor rate, when you look at it and only look at it without diving in and educating yourself in there, there is a lopsided. The rates end up going down. And a lot of that is, and I said it at the very beginning when you and I started talking about this, only when you have tools, only when you put them in there and put those costs in, and then figure out where that goes and how to allot for that, did it start making sense. I mean, I've been blessed to be in it now for over 35 years and self-insured for quite a while. Obviously, I've learned that that's not a good thing anymore.
Yeah.
And then especially at the age that I'm at. And then when you start looking, so and that's still a myth. I mean, when you talk to technicians, you talk to service managers, and you start looking the onslaught without really diving in, nobody wants anything to do with it.
Yep.
I would say on that, if you don't mind, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Please do.
I would say on that, it is only if you're comparing the best world scenario to what normally happens. So you're assuming that 3 years after paying a hefty install, possibly still reimbursing that savings, paying down that credit card, or paying off that loan for that system, that they're going to call you back out and you're not going to have to eat costs or cut yourself down significantly, that they're going to happily call you out and pay a retail price for a repair or replacement 2, 3, 4 years after an install. Whereas with the labor warranty, that's a guaranteed call out, right? So that's the what if they called me out and I got the retail price, as opposed to they're guaranteed to call you out. You have a warranty. So that's the guaranteed ticket too, is you've got the retail what ifs or possibilities versus the guaranteed income, as well as, of course, selecting the right labor rate, making sure that you're paying your guys accordingly, and aligning everything with what the labor rate is that you selected. So,
right. And I think that's where we take things the next step to considering our positioning. Like Marty said, I mean, you have to have the tools in place, right? And we make sure we have those conversations with the contractors to really understand their business so we can help guide them on the correct markup, on the correct labor rate, to make sure they are hitting the mark where they need to 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now.
Absolutely. You have one guy who, or if you're doing training with the tech, and you know, every time you guys go out on a big change out, like a coil or something, there's going to be an extra person with you. That's an extra payroll. We don't do your business, only you do. But if you tell us how you go to market and what your business plan is, we will ensure that we have what's right to fit into that.
And I think that we do have we have 4,533 people listening to this episode or our podcast all the time. Just
Well, maybe 4.
Maybe 4 billion. I'm not sure yet.
Look at your subscribers.
And then one of the small segments, we do have some homeowners that listen to the show every once in a while because apparently we do play cool music and we're kind of attractive. But the big thing is that as a homeowner, well, why would I want to buy the extra warranty? Because I'm one of those guys, if I buy a television, I'm not buying the warranty because everything is so, not cheap, but it's not an arm and a leg anymore if my television does break in 2 years, right? Yeah. So why this is important, and I see it daily, is you've spent $14,000 on that system. It's to $20,000 with ductwork, whatever it might be. And we're 2 years in and there's a coil failure. Coil is covered, no problem. Refrigerant labor is not. So you're dropping another $2,000-$3,000. And people's like, well, you're charging too much for your labor. It's actually not the labor. It's the refrigerant. The refrigerant is so expensive. And so when we talk about this is what you want to ask your contractor about, because this covers you. It covers the contractor and it covers the homeowner. Am I correct?
Correct.
Yes, it does. It covers the homeowner. The contractor is our customer. So we don't sell direct to the homeowner. That is our customer, and everything that we're doing to ensure that this is a profitable, good relationship for them. My boss likes to say, we're not selling a car and you're driving off a lot. And if you have issues 6-7 years down the road, you can just go, find your local mechanic. The warranties you purchase today, like with Courtney, you'll be talking to her in 6 years, in 10 years, filing claims together.
Yeah.
Then from there, the end consumer is your customer. And so you have to make sure you're doing on your side the message you want to deliver to that customer, whether that's peace of mind, comfort, anything like that.
And touch more on that too, that you were talking about with like the homeowner and the refrigerant bill likely being the largest bill a lot of times. And in the homeowner's mind, whenever you go to install the equipment, they hear warranty, right? Well, that's just the parts warranty. They have no idea. They're not even thinking about labor and refrigerant. Yep. And guess what? We're going to have another refrigerant change in a few years up the road, So it's going to shake things up again. And we are protecting your homeowner and we're protecting you. So no matter the changes of refrigerant, we're still covering that and protecting you and your homeowners.
Yeah. Well, listen up out there, homeowners. And I always tell my friends this, they all call me when they have problems. I say, buy the extended warranty. You have to get a maintenance agreement, number one. Number two, I would get the extended warranty. And just like you were saying earlier, Kelsey, that a big repair happens. Say you get an evaporator coil leak, and then you come to the homeowner and they're like, well, wait a minute. I just paid $20,000 and my last system lasted me 18 years. And now I've got a major problem in year 3 and you're going to charge me what? Yeah. And that's when they go, I'm going to call somebody else. And
that's right.
What they do, they go, well, I'll do it for this and whatever. Yep. And then you just lost a customer.
That's right.
Exactly.
100%. And the good thing is, on the contractor's perspective, in order to keep the warranty valid, the customer has to have a PM plan. And that is a good thing, because that's when we find capacitors and things wrong that would not leave you stranded on a really hot day, right? We clean the coils, we make sure that your investment lasts the 10, 15 years. And
talk about that, the PM plans.
yep.
How
Yes.
stringent are you guys on that? Because that's always like with us, we work with a distributor for the manufacturer, and they
Marty-
always said maintenance needed to be done, and it had it in the warranty, but very rarely did that ever get enforced. So
Yeah.
how critical is that? How much is that really enforced?
Absolutely. Marty, did you had your hand
No,
up?
I'm going to tell you, I know the top three things.
Yes. This is Marty's.
Agreements and maintenance agreement.
This is Marty's love language.
Yeah, we
Love
just squirreled off, and I'm a lead squirrel. So
Okay, wonderful.
yeah,
I know
go ahead.
No.
Courtney loves talking about this, but I
Yes.
will say it is great to assist with garnishing those maintenance contracts, because I don't know how enforceable it is on the manufacturer side. I don't know if there's a reporting process on it. I haven't had to report that on a manufacturer side. That's not the department that I worked in whenever I was doing in the HVAC side. I have seen it done. I've seen the back and forth, and a lot of times the contractor is the one delivering that message, right?
Mhm.
The manufacturer is not the one delivering that message. So it's a hard one to have.
Yeah.
But for us, we have the consumer brochures that state this is required. We have the terms and conditions that state this is required. Additionally, I've had contractors who are very aware that it's required, and they've called and they've said, I am going to file this claim, and I know it's going to be denied. So don't call me and try to educate me, or call me and try to, get it paid for me or anything like that, because what I need you to do is deny it due to the fact that they have refused to maintain it. And that is not to nickel and dime the consumer. That is because you have now had to go out 3 years later and do warranty labor on a system that they refuse to pay to maintain. That's not fair to you. And so we stand behind that very, very much. We have a hard line on it. We have a customer support line that is available for customers. And if they call in and say, I'm being told I have to maintain my system, that's going to be validated.
That's good.
And I to touch on that too, like Kelsey said, this is one of my favorite things, because we're positioning ourselves to support you as a contractor to capture that maintenance agreement. And we're going to do everything we can to help support that, because it is required by the parts warranty. It is required by us as a labor warranty, but we are not going to add more work on your plate to make sure you provide documentation that it's getting done. If you call us, because I have a perfect example of one of my contractors said, I installed this equipment 5 years ago. He had me out. He did maintenance the first 2 years, and then nothing, zilch, nada, nothing. And he calls me up, and he has a failure, and he tried, so I was in a position to where I'm like, hey, I'm supporting you, the contractor. You let me know, how you feel this went, and I will honor basically kind of what you would like to honor as well, because it doesn't necessarily make their labor warranty null and void. We can deny that particular claim based off of a failure of maintenance. And so I had the conversation with him, and I followed his lead on how he wanted to handle that customer, because this customer was telling him, well, I was self-maintaining my system. Okay, that's fine. You got to provide documentation. You got to provide some like picture documentations, whatever. So we aren't making it difficult, and we're not going to try to like ruin your relationship with your customers based off of this. We are trying to support you in gaining that business.
That's very good. So
Mind if I touch on that?
yeah, please do, Marty.
Yeah. So, number one, let me make sure that I put my position in there. I'm a fan now. So, not that I would not. So, and sometimes when I'm talking on here, I kind of like to humbly be able to speak to the same, and I call it the 67 percenters, which is an owner and less than 5 employees, right? That they don't have a full staff to go back and do these things. And so as we're changing over and we're putting those things in, there's some checks and balance that really go along with this before you even get to the point of them not doing your maintenance, right?
Exactly.
So to anybody that would be listening, going back in there, there's a simple theory that I would tell you to go on it. It's a win plus win equals win, right? And the first win's always going to be the customer. The second win's always going to be the coworker and the employee. And the third win is going to always be the company. And that order cannot be mixed up, right? And so you have to be totally bought in and totally emphatically understanding that the number one thing in your company is the maintenance agreement, because it is right for your customer first and foremost, before we even get to the cost of what it is. So those checks and balances that have to be in there is we should know at some point in time. We have technology, right? We have tools, right? We have sales tools. We have tools that can actually support that customer, and we know when those things are coming in. So either A, we choose not to use the tools or get the tools. B, if your maintenance agreement is falling down and they're not using you, that's a problem, right? That's not something that we should be getting too deep if we truly buy into this, right? And so when we're looking at these in there, it's going to enhance your maintenance agreement program, because it gives a total another level of a benefit that doesn't have the homeowner having to go to a big box retailer to find their own parts, and let alone discharge a capacitor and blow up in their face, right? And so the $20,000 systems are normal now, right? $15,000 systems. 5 years ago, we were still in the 7 and 8s on an entry level. And so it wasn't so, and nobody was really that, impacted about all this. But now we've got two refrigerant changes. The oils
Another one coming.
lasting anywhere near as long as they used to.
Yeah.
And that uncomfortable conversation that you have to have right now. And I had 2 of them today, right? 18 months. And you have to choose, do you charge $1,900 after they just bought a $12,000 system, right? That's very uncomfortable. You get written up and you get stars taken away from you with that conversation.
That's right.
There's a whole different ball game with it in right now. So when you back up and you actually start going to your first win, the maintenance agreement should be the number one thing, because it's the right thing, right? Secondly, now you're adding another level of a benefit where that goes. But as you're starting to talk on this in there too, it's not something that you just go pick up and go with. You have to have your tool. You have to have sales tools. You have to have, you'd have to know what your sell labor rate is to know what category you're going to pick, and know how you're going to charge and where you're going to put money to be able to support that. And then the second level, what I'd like to hear you talk is like, what is it that you're telling and sharing with folks when the guys are used to being paid on commission and used to paid on parts, and now we're going back into this thing, and I'm sure we're going to have some sort of share with the home warranty, right? But it's not something. There's going to be pitfalls, right, to what we didn't do in the past. I think that the change is a whole lot worse than not starting to really look at this.
That's right.
Because our customers are going to go somewhere else. And they do not want to be browbeated. They're going to spend an awful lot of money right now. And in all reality, warranty should be a warranty now, right? It's not a game anymore, right? And I don't mean anymore. The costs were not anywhere near where they are. So when somebody pays that kind of money for it, when they pick up the phone, there ought to be not the surprise that we're having to give them right now. And it's borderline, doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So the big thing is on the contractor side, and something that I had to deal with a lot, because the product that me and Will represented a long time ago had a factory-owned 10-year labor warranty that you could purchase. The paperwork was always, and contractors wear many hats sometimes. And I can't tell you, there was actually one of my customers, I had a desk that belonged to me in his facility, because once every 2 weeks I would go in there and help him follow his warranties. He was a great customer, paid his bill. I gladly did it for him. But that piece of it, have you guys been able to streamline the process so it's not a hurtful thing for the contractor?
Oh yeah, we were actually one of the first. I think we were the first in the industry to do it. I really think it was one of the major pushes for JB Warranties. I mean, awesome product, but I do think that this was it too. Everything is online, so we have other things. Obviously, we've grown with the industry. We have the Service Titan integrations where we, you don't have to do all this other stuff, that kind of stuff. So, but and we're working on other FSM ones. But bottom line is, if you're just going JB Warranties, you're not utilizing any of the, new tools in the market. It's one portal. It's a one-stop shop. We have actually already started to integrate with multiple manufacturers' registration sites. Now, I know that there are plenty of states now that you don't have to register anymore, but there's a lot that you still do. But it's either going to be one of two processes. Number one, when you're going to purchase the warranty, you're either going to need the same information online in your portal that you would have needed to register the equipment, make, model, serial, customer information, period. Or you're going to need that serial number from one of those major reputable manufacturers that you just registered that equipment with. And you're going to click one button. It's going to pull over that information you just registered with. And that's it.
Cool.
I mean, it's just going to pull it over. So that's adding the agreement. And then on the filing the claim side, it's done in the same portal. You click create a new claim. It's 7 questions, 2 documents, and you're done.
Again, this is another one of my favorite topics to touch on because, like Kelsey said, I think that's what kind of put JB Warranties on the map. We were the first to get fully accessible online and to streamline the process, and we're continuing to upgrade that experience. But I tell my dealers, if it takes you more than 5 minutes to do anything in our portal, we have a problem. Call me. We're going to figure it. It shouldn't take you longer than 5 minutes to literally do anything.
Yeah.
It's taking you less, like to file a claim. And so once we actually get to show them the process, and we're very hands-on too. Like, again, like you said, dealers wear many hats. They're doing a lot of things. And so we want to simplify it. We don't want it to be another chore that they have to do at the end of the day. So we help kind of make sure that they understand the process. And if it's super efficient, we have new integrations now that will actually talk to a lot of FSMs. So it will auto-populate, auto-generate a warranty, and even kind of auto-populate a claim that potentially needs to be filed as well. So, but it's very streamlined. It's very simple. We're not trying to make you jump through a bunch of hoops with lots of documentation and
No,
time
you
consuming.
guys have a million things to do.
Mhm.
And same thing with your administrative side. I mean, that is a million things to do. This is all we do.
Right.
So utilize us, call us, you know?
How quickly do you guys fund?
Typical process is within 14 days. We've made a niche of even doing it faster. The only time it actually goes past that 14 days is typically human error. So like I talked about needing those documents with a claim, you're still a human filing that claim online. So one of those documents is your final repair service ticket, and one is any type of parts receipt, $0 pickup slip, manufacturer, receipt from a part. Just that's how we validate that you
Okay.
did the work. You said you changed out this blower motor. There's that blower motor receipt. We don't need photos. We don't need any of this other stuff, right? We just need that receipt. But human error states maybe you uploaded the receipt twice and forgot the invoice. So that extension of time will come whenever our claim adjuster says, hey, I'm still missing this invoice. So that's whenever it might go past it. But if everything's done right, we're at that 14-day or less.
So question, take me, I'm a contractor and I'm filing for a blower motor that went bad. So take me through the process. Do I scan a copy of the invoice? How does it, you upload it?
If you still have paper invoices,
Well, I mean,
those
you
carbon
send a
copies?
screenshot. I mean, are you uploading a PDF? Hey, I still write checks. I know.
It could be anything. Yeah, it could be a
You can take a
screenshot.
picture.
Yeah, a picture of just your service ticket and a parts receipt. It could be a bulk receipt. And not only are we trying to match up the parts receipt to the job done, but also we have added benefits that allows you extra payouts on your claims based off the cost of your part. So it's just to match everything up, and you can get extra money basically paid out on your claims. But what it would look like is you just go into your portal, you can type in the customer name or the address. You have a drop-down menu as to what the repair was done. You can add some notes in there, and then you're just plugging in 2 documents, the service ticket, your parts receipt, and it can accept lots of different formats as far as I know. And then you submit it, and that's it. And then typically us as account managers, we like to kind of keep close tabs too. So if there is missing documents or something, we'll be calling you and saying, hey, we missed this, let's get it in. And our claims team is awesome. I mean, if there's ever any issue or question, we can get a hold of them quickly. We can resolve things super efficient.
And how do the funds get transferred? Is that ACH or how is that done?
We have launched some ACH. We've got those in tests with some select dealers. Last I heard, it's been very successful. Right now, majority is still on checks.
Actual physical checks being mailed out, just because it makes it simpler to track the claims, right? So, but yes, mostly that's physical checks.
So I have been at Mrs. Jones's house, and she has her third compressor in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Who flags it?
Good one.
And what's the additional? Right?
So you would get paid on a third compressor.
No kidding.
The only stipulation is 90 days.
90 days same
Stand behind
repair.
your work. Yeah.
90 days same repair. And obvious two reasons. Number one, it's a stand behind your work policy. But number two, if you got a faulty part, there's other people who probably should be, making some adjustments there. So
Yeah.
and that, to protect us as well. But it's 90 days same repair. But let's say you change that compressor and a week later you went out and, now you got a bad motor. You can pop for that motor.
Okay. No, and so I know that when we went through our warranty processes through the manufacturer, by the second compressor, you had field analysis sheets to fill out. You had an extra technician out there. You had a technician from the factory. It's all this stuff to jump through, right? To make sure that there's not problems down the line. That's why I asked that question. So it's really good.
Okay. That's good to know, but no, that's not actually a requirement on our end. It's the same. It would be the same process as when you filed the claim the first time.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Very good.
But let me ask you this: on a lot of units now that are but there's one brand that does a unit replacement on a compressor failure,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of them do that. Do we get compensated on the
Manufacturer's recommendation. So we are in line with the no hassle guarantees. The first ones that I were seeing out there, I'm not going to name drop. I had the same questions as you. I was like, what do we do here? Because the whole system didn't fail, right? Like, because our policy is we pay for a component that was, mechanically or electrically failed, repaired or replaced. But no, we would honor it. So the way that typically works is if the manufacturer recommended it, or let's go ahead and move into the refrigerant stuff a little bit. A compressor goes bad. Now you got to replace the indoor coil. There's a lot of things now you have to replace to match up refrigerant. We are going to continue to honor the original installation when it comes to a manufacturer recommendation or whenever there is an equipment available.
Okay. So when I file for my service call, do you guys pay trip charge? Do you pay labor and refrigerant? All three of those? Or how does that work?
So we have different coverages, but I want to be very clear on what the labor warranty is. This is a big misconception. I think contractors dive in without understanding what the labor warranty is, and consumers purchase it without realizing what they're paying for. And that's when people get upset. People want to get what they paid for. But this is an equipment labor warranty built to complement the manufacturer's warranty. So the labor provided literally only meant to pay for the labor it took to repair or replace that broken component or part. So it is not assumed that the cost to start your truck is included in that equipment labor warranty. It's not assumed that a 3-hour extensive leak check and diagnosis is included in an equipment labor warranty. Now, for both of our main coverage plans, we do cover $65 of a diagnostics, but we don't also assume that is what your diagnostics fee is.
Yeah.
How you go to market with that is up to you. If you want to say, normally it's going to cost $189 to start my truck and knock on your door, but because you got this labor warranty, it's going to cost you $129. That's your choice, right? Or if you want to just take it all in and raise the labor rate a little bit, that's up to you. But it is an equipment labor warranty.
Good. That is a very big misconception. So I'm glad you clarified that.
Can you get a higher diagnostic fee? Is there different ones that you have it all at 65?
Those are all at 65 because, like I said, it's literally like a courtesy. I don't think it should ever be assumed that your costs as a tradesman and somebody running a business paying for a truck payment, the administrative cost to dispatch that call, the internet, everything else that goes into overhead should ever be assumed to be included in an equipment failure labor warranty. That sits at 65 as a courtesy, but we have labor rates now up to $600.
Yeah.
Wow.
And again, that ties into the conversation that we have with our contractors to make sure that they are going to market appropriately. So if they don't want to bill any kind of diagnostic fee or trip fee to the homeowner that has a labor warranty, then it's a little bit of a dance. Like, okay, let's make sure we bump up your labor rate, or you're providing enough of a markup to help cover those mutual potential costs.
Absolutely.
What does the future look like?
Is that $600 an hour, or is that $600
An hour.
An hour.
Okay.
That's got to be more of a commercial.
Rate this one up.
No, I mean, that's what I was getting at a little while ago is in a humble plug on, we have a pricing and sales tool, the practice tool that we provide to contractors and we've got a whole section in there for that. And it really gives you, and that's why I just keep hammering the point, whether it's ours or anybody's, right? When you go back and put that in there, it is very instrumental that you go through the process to understand what your labor rate is before you just choose one going back out in there. So again, the first win's going to the customer, right? And so whatever that you need to have that pays for that to go out there to give an incredible service, you have to know, and there's calculations to get to that cell labor rate. And that would give you the right one that they would choose for that. So at that point, it's really not a diagnostic fee, it's a destination charge for the $65, right? The other thing on that too is when you have, again, I am bringing this back in for everybody that would be listening and just trying to go through it and try to do it on paper. It's hard, right? You can't. And so there's costs that you pick up. And when we built this in here years ago, now that I'm looking at it, it's like when you said 14 days, but there's no 3% credit card fee on it either.
That's right.
You pick up another 3% that you're not having to either have that uncomfortable conversation like you have in the restaurant now. That are you going to use your credit card and they're going to charge you 3%, where 5 years ago they said they weren't printing money anymore and begged you during COVID to use a credit card. So again, we're getting all kinds of uncomfortable situations in it, right? And so the cost that it would be to finance, even in service, and they're getting high, right? Is that you don't have to get those in there when you have this, and you save that anywhere from 7 to 9%, but definitely the credit card, right? So it's that fee minus the 3% that you don't get paid when you walk out the door, but it's guaranteed in the next 14 days.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
So all this equipment's changing. It's like everything is variable something now, and everything has 5 sensors. What's the future look like with you guys? Are you guys having internal conversations with this industry changing, or is it pretty much just like, listen, a motor is a motor, and we're going to pay the labor? The labor is going to be the labor.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
JB Warranties has done a really good job keeping up with industry standards. So, like I said, we launched in 2008. You guys referenced this earlier. 2 years later, the R22 to 410A switch happened, right? They were not in business for 2 years when the phase out began. And then, of course, now we're going through another phase out, and we're doing, so now we're doing the A2L. And it's going to be the same thing with the variable speed systems. When I was going into plumbing, the master plumber I was working underneath, he was telling me, I've been a master plumber for 30 years, but I only have 8 years of experience on a tankless water heater. Every time I feel like I have it down, there's a new board, or there's there's something else going on here. And so, I mean, those are incredible. The efficiency from a comfort standpoint, and they are more sophisticated, but when repairs happen, they're also more expensive than what homeowners experienced 15 or 20 years ago. Diagnosis is taking longer, retraining, communicating equipment. Oh my goodness. How often are you going out now just to reset a smart thermostat? Like just the craziest things you're having to do now that warrant a service call, but it's a shift for us.
Exactly.
So whenever we said, now it's required and we're going to have an expansion tank, every water heter. Well, guess what we do now?
Yeah.
We're covering an expansion tank with every water heater.
And we saw that with a lot of the new sensors and stuff, right? With the A2L equipment. Kudos to our claims manager, Whitney. I mean, she is always researching, and because sometimes we'll get a claim in and we were like,
what is this?
What is this part? We never even like, is this part of the equipment? And it's like, yeah, sure enough, we're paying it. So it's
a flux capacitor.
Yes, exactly. I tell you what, they come to me thinking, oh, Kelsey knows. She's from the industry. Okay. I haven't been in the field in 16 years. Much change in 16 years,
So do you guys think things come back, right? So bell bottoms are cool again, right? like all the stuff. So it's like, do you guys think we're going to go back to Nextel phones, pagers, paper tickets, and a contactor, compressor, and a fan. Like, can we go back to those days where it's like,
One.
No, it's manufactured obsolescence.
it's like,
My husband has been asking for a flip phone for at least 3 years. And I was like, absolutely not. We got too many sports apps that you got to say, I'm not the only one in this game. You got to be the next.
I do. I want it, and I've started making it a point at my house whenever we're on like taking actual vacation and stuff, because it's hard for me to check out for things. I call it. I need like cognitive closure for everything. It's a productivity paradox. So, but I've had to make it a point to turn like my phone on vibrate or put it on the charger and just completely separate myself. And that was never the case, right? When all you had was the Snake game on the Nokia, right? Like, so.
Yeah.
I miss
you
my.
can have a mini computer in your hand that can do anything you want it to, answer any question.
Yeah.
I miss my Nextel so bad.
I do have some contacts stored with the Nextel ID.
Yeah.
My plumber.
So we have, guys, we have 2 questions left. The very first question, we'll ease into this. Who's winning the Stanley Cup?
Oh.
Ooh. Who's winning that?
I
That's a
think-
good question.
I don't know if we can say anything about causing riots in the office. With the,
exactly, because we're located in
I know.
They're in Vegas.
So,
Yeah. So
I don't know, that's
it's taken years off my life.
Me too.
I mean, they're down so much, and then 3 goals in 39 seconds. And you're like,
I went to bed. It was 4-0 the other night, and I wake up to all my texts from my buddies, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I saw the highlights. I'm like,
yeah, it's insane. And it's making for late nights, and I can't handle late nights.
I
So every
can't-
time they go to overtime, I'm like, come on, man.
got the basketball game tonight.
Yeah, I don't do basketball. I'm sorry.
yeah.
So then there's one question that we ask everybody, and that question is, do you believe in Bigfoot?
Oh, when I was in North Carolina, I would say yes. When I lived in North Carolina, I became a believer. I don't know what happened while I was there, but I became a believer.
I don't know what happened.
But now I have kids and we camp a lot, and absolutely not. He's not around. It doesn't exist. It's totally fine.
Oh, you're making us. You're the soft generation.
Yeah.
You're making us think through
Everything's
stuff.
fine. It's fine.
No, I 100% believe in Bigfoot.
That's awesome. That's
Bigfoot Festival.
yes. So and we keep talking about it. Well, I researched this. It's in September. Okay,
I
and
knew
so
it was in the end of the summer. So
yeah, it's in Asheville, and so we're talking about maybe doing a remote there, like actually doing the podcast from there one time, finding a contractor. I think Will may have a customer up there, go up there, and then do something at night where we make some noises for something. Because I don't know if you guys ever watched that show, Finding Bigfoot. That was me and my son's bonding time, and it was so hokey. But Bobo actually, I believe, was Bigfoot. So he was coming out of disguise to do the show to throw people off the track. I think that was what Bobo was doing, because I think he was actually Bigfoot. I'm sorry.
No, I remember being little and watching Independence Day, right? And you got Bill making his grand speech. Today we celebrate our Independence Day, right? But I'm one of those people who watches everything behind the scenes. Like, I'll do all 6 hours of behind the scenes on anything. Like, I watch it all. And I was watching an interview with Will Smith. At the time, I had no opinions on Will Smith, but he had said, and I remember it just hitting much as a kid, that we would be naive to believe in all the universe and all the galaxies and all the stars that we're the only life form out there, that we're the only, like, come on. And I remember being little and being like, I knew it. Also, I lived right by Roswell, so I was in the green a long time.
So, the whole like, there's 70% of the ocean we don't even know what's in it, right? So, so I started our leadership meeting the other day, and I just do a little fun fact for everybody. So everybody's heading to the beach that weekend because we're only about an hour from the beach, and it was like, hey guys, just so you know, the largest shark ever recorded is a great white, and it was off the Guadalupe Islands, was 19.5 feet. There is a female hanging out in the estuaries in Wilmington, North Carolina, that's 16.5 foot. She's been there for a year. She's not leaving. So she's eating like the dogs that fall in, that type of stuff. And I'm like, so I just revert back to the fact that years ago, my dad had an agreement with the Sharks because I'm South African, so they're bigger down there. And the agreement was they don't come in the pub, we don't go in the water. And it's been working ever since. It's flawless. I've never been bit. So it's all good. I believe in that. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. I actually would, Will, it would be really cool to do a podcast from the JB facility because you need to see that place.
Yes, come on. We'd love to have that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Marty, Will, have y'all been here? Oh, wait. Is Marty? Because I know he's not like in, but I feel like he's in the circle.
He is in the circle. He's the inner circle.
Oh yeah.
So no, it's in Texas. It's on his farm, and they actually told us the whole story there from how they actually bought the farm last minute and all that stuff. But it's the most beautiful place. But yeah, it's absolutely. I envy you guys because I know you go into a great place to work every day. So, but thank you so much for coming on. Thank you. We would love to have you guys back. This topic is going to come up again, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And then, how can our customers reach out to you? Our contractors, how do they find you?
I mean, I'll just drop my number right here.
Sure.
Yeah.
You want it?
Personal cell phone number would be best.
So honestly, we have our phone numbers available on JB Warranties website, of course. If you're looking in the Carolinas and you want to post it, I'll let Courtney say hers. Otherwise, like I said, I cover quite a few areas, so I can probably direct you to the right person. If they're not under me, I know who they are. And so my number is 469-642-1171.
And I'll pull that off and put it in the notes.
Perfect.
Yes.
My email is, my name's on the screen. It's kweeks, and then it's at jbwarranties, plural.com.
That's awesome.
So one other question. Hang on, Jay-Z. Why did you let Mike, G, and Petra retire?
He retired.
What's his last name? I couldn't remember his last name.
I had to look it up on LinkedIn, but I used to run into Mike at a bunch of the trade shows and stuff. And
Me too.
Always a pleasure.
We tried not to, but he has grandbabies and he's wanting to live his life, but he hasn't gone for it. He calls me still pretty
He just
regularly.
lives Hickman Road, 20 minutes from me. So
Yes. Well, I was thinking about trying to do a visit out to Charlotte here in the next couple of weeks. So I'm like, I may just call Mike up and see if him and his wife want a little house guest.
We tried to get him to stay longer. I mean, I guess he has priorities.
I'm just kidding. He's a minister, right? Too.
Well, he's very involved in his church.
Yeah.
Very involved in his church. Such a great guy.
He is.
He's missed.
Yeah, I miss Mike. So hello out there, Mike.
Yes. If you go to, I think it's put on LinkedIn. It might have been on YouTube, but we did a video from our last annual sales meeting that we hosted in November, and you can see him getting his send off. And he has a stone. When or if you come to the facility and we walk the pond, you'll see he is the first person to officially retire from warranties. He's got his send off there. It was a sweet tribute video that another guy had given him that had worked here, and he said, smallest man in the room, biggest man in the industry. So,
That's awesome.
I think I know what you're talking about. Is there fish in the pond? There's
Yes.
Yes, bass. We got some huge bass.
What I grew up fishing for. So
Yeah, it's awesome. And then, Will, they took us to this facility to go get drinks and dinner, and it was so Texas, man. It's a huge A-frame barn, and you drive up, and there's actually cowboys riding in on horses, and there's a pin for the horses, and every chair at the bar is a saddle. I'm like, I'm in heaven. This is the best place ever.
Let me guess, you got a ribeye.
Well, yes, that too.
Best cut. Come on.
I can't remember if the diet was fully liquid or if there was dinner involved, but I know there was a lot of beer drunk, so it was a lot of protein. It was good. It was very good.
Yeah. Well, my contact information mimics or mirrors Kelsey's quite a bit. So my number is 469-642-1181. So if you have any contractors in North or South Carolina, I would love to talk with them. I can answer any questions. My email is also at cwomack@jbwarranties.com.
Okay, perfect. I will pull those off the transcript, and I'll make sure we post it in the show notes.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, guys.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. And I knew this was going to be a great episode. It's just that funky video in the front. I might even cut that out. I don't know yet.
I thought it was funny.
You said something. Just leave it. It's fine.
Honestly, don't veer away from the fun stuff because whenever I started watching, I'm going to tell you that's the first thing that caught my attention because, of course, I'm getting nosy and I'm scrolling and I'm like, what else?
Sure.
Right. And it was Bigfoot and stuff that caught my
Yeah.
You know, because I'll be honest, I heard the beer cans and I said, I don't know.
So that's a good question. Do you know what the name actually means or where it comes from?
No, I don't.
So back in and as Will, this is all Will came up with a name, but back in the day,
Sunday morning, and
yes,
I said, "This is the name."
I remember the text message. So back in the day, the industry standard, if you learned heating and air from the guy that wore coveralls and sat on a bucket, right? He would talk of that R22 system, and he would say, "Boy, you don't put a gauge on it if that big line is beer can cold."
Okay.
And so a lot of the young generation don't get that. But we made up these shirts, and it has the logo on the back. And I was at a car museum walking around, and it's really quiet because it's like there's not a lot of people. And this old timer goes to his wife. He said, "Look, it's a heating and air guy, and I know what that means."
Oh, wow.
So
I did not.
yep. So there was two myths like that. It's like if that line is beer can cold, you have to pull your gauges out. And then the other thing is like if you had this little slide rule, and if the house fits in like this little slide rule thing, it only gets a 2.5 ton or a 3 ton. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That kind of stuff. Also, my dad would tell me to go get a bucket
Yes.
of air. And, that's an empty bucket, but just the job to get sent on. Although he swears he can walk by an air conditioner, hear the compressor, and say, "Oh, that's going out." So,
Praise
I wouldn't doubt
from a man like that. Yep. And he actually got to a point, they called him Dr. Bill, and to a point he had a stethoscope. He would put a stethoscope on the side of the unit, and he was so full of crap, man. It was all about the customer, but it was like, dude, you can't hear anything. And he had me for years, but one funny story, I'll let you go. So I actually found this in my garage the other day and gave it to my son because my son is a technician, works for us. It's an old school sling slicometer, and so it has these two. You have five. So you know what I'm talking about, Marty. So it's like you have these two mercury-filled bulbs, one with a little rope on it, right? And so then you wet the rope, and then you have to stand and swing it. And then you take the difference between the two readings, and that's your wet bulb. Well, old Bill, I was fresh, man. Green. I still had new, fresh tech smell. And so he was like, listen, this is what this does. You have to swing it at a certain angle, but because of the degrees of axis of the earth, you have to stand on one foot and lean to the right just a little bit. I bought it all. Hook, line, and sinker. And I remember the customer walking in, and I'm standing there on my one foot tilted to the side, swinging this thing, and she just looked at me, shook her head, and walked out. And that's when I realized Bill got it, man.
Wow. I don't even know what you're talking about. And I thought that I'd, grown up and I'd seen that side.
I'm
I have no idea.
I'm calling my brother as soon as we get off here. Hey,
Yeah.
did that just,
Yep. Yeah, so that's where the name comes from, and we're pretty proud of our name. So it's very good. I'm glad Will thought of it. So, well, thank you so much, guys. We hope to have you back soon, and then we will drop this episode on Friday. I'll give you guys a heads up when it comes out.
Well, you guys were very fresh and lovely. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good night.
Cheers.
Sweat drip in the attic, dark. Phone ring, you're afraid of the price. You've been discounting every spark, selling comfort like it's just some dice. They say, raise your rate, own your name, stop bleeding out on every call. You feel that chorus in your chest, build a company that outlives us all.
Yeah, line one, booking steady, that's a win. Let's go. But what's the margin on the money coming in? What's your close rate? What's your spend to make a buck? Are you paying for the leads or just praying for some luck? Stack KPIs like a set list tight. Average ticket in the daylight, labor in the night, overhead heavy. Trim that fat, you want freedom? Better fix that flat.
Maintenance plans on auto pay, that's value when you're sleeping through the day. Give me it out, bigger than your ego talk. Build a brand you can sell, then you really rob.
But the business running high, let's go. Turn that wrench into a weapon in the gold. We're turning vans into value on the road. Beer can cold. JG will in your earbuds take control. From the crawl space up to profit you can hold. We're singing cash flow, rock and roll. Beer can cold. Turn it up in the warehouse. Let the numbers hit your spine. You're not stuck in a slow down. You're one decision from a different life. business running high, let's go. Hey, turn that wrench into a weapon in the gold. We're turning vans into value on the road. Beer can cold. JG will in your earbuds, take control. From the crawl space up to profit you can hold. We're singing cash flow, rock and roll. Beer can cold.